So today we're going to be talking about something that I feel like is really important for every player to know, or for every player to identify about themselves if they're going to enjoy this game of basketball, being able to showcase your best self on the basketball court. What I want us to talk about today is how to identify your unique player value or your player identity. So let's dive into it.
Take that journey inside.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Collins Diambo, and welcome to another episode of Hoop Diaries with Collins. Hope you guys are doing well. Remember, if you subscribe, good for the channel. It's growing. It's a way that you can show appreciation to the channel. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for being there and supporting with my mom. Still in the process, and I thank you for the continuous support. Now, today, again, you're going to go into my diary, some things that I've learned, and I feel like are very important for young players, especially to understand and to start thinking about or even implementing in their own personal skill development and their own personal basketball journey. Now, from my own personal experience, what I've seen is with these young players, not all, but most of them, focus on, scoring, which is a great thing. You can't win a game without scoring. Some players are focused on, want to have highlights. A lot of players ignore the more valuable skills, spacing, being able to shoot off a rip, being able to give a pass, being able to feed your post, being able to read and react, which I feel like are more important than just scoring or than just, trying to get a highlight or something of some sort. Being able to get to a place where you want to identify yourself as a player, I feel like is a great place to start with to help a lot of young players find some form of identity when it comes to them as basketball players. A lot of young players maybe feel like the only way they'll be valuable to a team, or the only way they can be valuable, is by being able to score. And as I said, the challenge is we have this highlight culture. We have social media where guys see like a lot of highlight content, flashy moves, and all these things. Another thing is fans celebrate scoring. That is the fact. Fans celebrate scoring more. So there's this idea of if I can score, that makes me a more valuable player. But the thing is, all this is happening because in some cases, there's some lack of guidance and coaching. And I feel like this is something that is really affecting our young players. And I've seen this when I'm coaching, when I'm asking questions for guys that want me to work with them. Most of them talk about, just scoring, which again is not a bad thing. It is needed in basketball. But how do you score? In what position? At what point do you score? So there's a lot of things that goes into just scoring, but the best way to get there is number one, by identifying the type of player that you are. There's some things that happen if you never get to identify the kind of player that you are. Number one, you become inconsistent. So today you are there, you're showing up, you're working out. The next day, maybe something happens, you didn't get those highlights or you didn't get those scores. You are down and out some few days, and then you come back again. So you want to be consistent on the court because you're not consistent in your workouts. When you go on the court, you'll have a lot of confusion. And if I've seen this, I've been part of this. There'll be a lot of confusion because imagine you're not consistent, and then you go on the court, you're trying to do so many things. You'll be confused. You'll even forget plays. You'll just get the ball and think of, hey, I want to do my stuff. And you know what happens when you do that? You're sitting, you're able to sit on the bench. If you have a great coach, he tell you to sit on the bench because now you're not consistent. When you step on the floor, you're confused. Again, if you're consistent in going for training, when plays are being set, structures are being set and you're not there, and in your mind you're like, mimi mnoma manze na train. You look confused and you'll find people asking you, nakula kwa ni nini bana? Utuchezei bana, nini mbaya? It's because you're stepping on the floor and you're not confident. So you end up looking confused. And the reason why you'll be subbed out is because automatically the coach will not trust you. I'm telling you what I've gone through, because they cannot trust you. I said in another video, coaches play players that they trust. Period. You have to be consistent, avoid confusion, and you have to gain trust. And the only way you do that is by getting to a place where you know your identity as a basketball player. You don't know your player identity, you tend to disappear in teams. So you're hopping from one team to another, you know, so nielewi, nimeenda team ingine, hii team sijui nini, you never get to stay like in a team for even maybe like a number of years or a number of seasons. You're hopping everywhere. Because yes, vitu zote uko inconsistent, the coaches can't trust you, or party playing time mob, ukiingia court unaka uko confused because haujitambui, you don't know who you are as a basketball player. You know, and with that, it is very important. I'm just laying a foundation on why it is very important for us to identify our unique player identity. So if every player should not try to do everything, now the question becomes, and one way you can define a unique player identity, as the term says, unique. What is this one thing that you do and it's unique to you? So one might ask, what are some examples of strong player identities? Let me just read a few for you guys. A defensive stopper, an elite shooter like Steph Curry, a playmaker, a rebounder, a hustle player, hustles on defense and everything, locker room leader, guys who speak in the locker room and, you know, guys are pumped up, they come out focused and they end up playing even better and, you know, winning the championship or winning the game. So these are just some examples of player identity types. You can decide, I'm going to be a great point guard. So you study about point guards, you watch point guards, you know, you master the plays, you understand the plays, you understand the sets, you know at what moment am I calling this set. So those are just some examples of unique player identities. So I believe that every player needs to have like a superpower. As I said, one thing that will be known for. But the question is, how can a young player start discovering their unique player identity? Number one, the people closest to you, aka your coaches. If you're lucky enough to have a coach, those are people who can give you feedback. For a long time, people used to tell me, and I've talked about this in another video, unaweza kuwa point guard mzee. But for me, I was like, bro, me I want to score like Michael Jordan and say, I want to bring the ball and call plays. No, me I want to go to the corner, lift. You call a play, I'll run through the play and then get the ball and, you know, do my thing. Until I got an opportunity to be coached by the current head coach of this team where Kenya Airways plays in Rwanda, the Tigers, Coach Henry Kidum. He was the person who helped me like understand why I should actually play point guard. And he showed me, like, he took me aside and showed me, this is your potential. And you're able to do this, you're going to get playing time. Once I was able to buy into that, I became a point guard. I was like, minta point. It got to a point where I didn't even worry about scoring. I was like, as long as I'm able to play that point guard position in such a way that the coach will tell me, hey, unafanya job poa. Ama the coach will tell me, good job. I looked forward to that. And because of that, I started now developing myself as a point guard. Probably it took some time because we were not lucky to have like coaches all through our playing career, like guys who could teach you that way. You understand? But one place you can get that feedback to help you start developing is through your coaches, through your teammates. If you have some great teammates, especially if you have older teammates, guys who've played the game for long, they can identify. And they can tell you, work on this 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You'll be great as a post. You'll be good as a 2-man, as a 3-man, as a 1-man. You understand? So also teammates can help you in that. Another thing that you can do is watch your own games. Not for the highlights. Highlights ni poor, but watch your games. Look at your mannerisms. Unajua, look at how am I behaving when I'm playing this position. Unajua, position gani najipata kila time. What am I doing when I'm pointing the ball or when I'm off the ball? You understand? Because you'll start identifying, oh, by the way, I can be a good 2-man. Understand? So I start working on that. I don't need to play on the ball. I'm so good off the ball. So let somebody else bring the ball and then I'll play off the ball based on his directions. You understand? So watch your own games. Kuna vitu mingi hapo. Hiyo tu ni kitu moja I've just touched on. Another thing is you have to understand your body and your skills. Nika sasa mimi saizi niamue ni aje. I believe bwana. I believe I can play post. Yes, it is good. You can believe. You can do all things. Follow Christ who strengthens you. It is very true. You can do it. But you have to check on the reality, Jama. You have taller guys. Why do you insist on to play post? Najua, you are a good ball handler. You can handle pressure. You can slow the game down. You can play point. Work on that. Work on your point guard position. Continue training, working on your handles, on your shooting, on your driving dish. You understand? Your body and your skill level. Based on where you are right now, because this video is basically for younger players. So based on where you are right now, look at your body and the skills that you have. That will help you identify which is the best position for you to play. Another thing is, which is very important, take note of how your team relies on you. If your team relies on you in terms of shooting the ball, unaweza pata when shooting guard. Like, hey, tukidrive tukupee, manze kolo shoot your ball. We believe in you. Okay, there are so many ways or there are so many ideas, but those are just some things to like get you thinking and start directing you towards identifying your unique player identity. Now, as you continue working on this player identity, you start like realizing or identifying your unique player identity. There are going to be signs. There's a comedian called Savior. When I make money, there are going to be signs. The things that we just talked about, now the reverse. You're going to be consistent. Coaches are going to trust you. Manzi utapata playing time. Your teammates are going to trust you. There's going to be some expectation of you to do a particular thing because now we trust you and we've seen it's actually something that you can do. Okay? Your teammates will rely on you in that specific role ama position. You understand? Your teammates will rely on you. Wala sema mnakwanga ni aje. Tutafute nani atushutie 3. Tupost. Ajaze hawa watu hapo chini. We'll start relying on you on that particular thing. And like, we shoot. And so crash for those rebounds. You know, you can take the rebounds and go back up. Teammates will start relying on you. And the biggest thing is your confidence level will go up. Kama kuna kitu itakupea confidence is once you identify your unique player identity, work on it, you start seeing results, you stay consistent, your teammates depend on you, your coach trusts you, bro, utakuwa confident. That's why there's some players, like even like in Thunder, Taylor will shoot, they'll miss, like ile game ya KP, I think like the first 2 or 3 shots will miss, but wakaendelea tu. Ogechi pia alistruggle kidogo pia, but wakaendelea tu. And when it picked up, Ogechi alifunga hapo, muliona game ya KP. Taylor akakula 3 point. Nakumbuka alikula 3 point. Kuna ingine hata alimiss, akachukua tena and then went inside and took a mid range. Because the coaches trust them. Hawakuwatoa immediately after they missed. Because they trust them. Understand? They've developed a unique player identity. Like in the reality, bro, you can't try to do everything and expect to be a master or to have an identity as a player. No. Lazima uamue useme hii ndio nitajulikana nayo. This is I'm going to add value in any team that I play for. Let me tell you, if you do that, hizi vitu zote utapata. And the biggest thing is you're going to be very, very confident. You know, basketball culture always celebrate superstars, but championships, games are won by role players. Basically, a role player is somebody who understands their unique player identity, who understands their role, and they are good at that role. These are the people who help us or who help teams win games and championships. Because akiingia atafuti sijui highlights ama nini sijui kukuwa superstar. No, this is my role and I'm going to do it to my level best to help us get to the final goal of winning this game or winning that championship. So you have to understand it is better to work towards one of the best players in your role than trying to be a superstar. Ufurahisha watu hapa wamekaa kwa my friend, hakuna hiyo itakusaidia. Rather than focusing on being a superstar, focus on being the best in your role. And by the way, another thing that you can just talk about here is there's a big difference between a great role player and an average player. Number one is discipline. You see, when you know your role, you're able to be disciplined in that role. Unajua, this player ID that I have that has given me this role is what I'll work on consistently. But an average player will try to work on everything. No. So that is a huge difference. There's a big gap when it comes to discipline. Another thing is a role player will understand the system. Average players will never work towards understanding the system, or most of the time will not work towards understanding the system, because somehow you're thinking about yourself, your highlights, superstar, points, I make that dribble move so that sijui nitoke kwa K-hoops or something ama kwa top 10. Unajua, they'll never like really work towards fitting into the system. Unaona, because for them, I have to stand out. I have to be the best. I have to be that. I have to be this. They'll never work towards going into understanding the system. And I'll say, they'll be in a particular team for 3 years and still forget plays that you've been running for 3 years. It tells you they never even think about those plays. You run like a set, the same set, you're always forgetting. The coach will do something during timeout. We go in, he's doing his own thing. Because for him, I want to get the ball because, I'm free, you give me the ball. He's thinking about himself. He's an average player. Thinking about average things. Na hiyo moja yao ni, instead of thinking about the team, you're thinking about yourself. Great role players will do the small things. Hustle for the ball. Give a high five. Support from the bench. Go in. Pick rebounds. Doesn't complain about, I'm not getting the ball. Pick the rebounds. Give an outlet and fill the lane. Once, twice, thrice. Doesn't get the ball. Pick an offensive rebound. Make that basket. Run once or twice. Get a ball. Scores. Come back. Right. Picks a rebound. Runs the floor. Snipes a screen. Doesn't get the ball. Somebody else shoots. Goes for the rebound. He converts or he takes it out. Those small things. He'll dive for the ball. You understand? He'll be there cheering on the bench, talking about help. Man cut. Like they are there. They are in the game. They are doing these small things. When it is a timeout, they'll be the first people on the court to go and give their teammates high five. Na jamaa hajacheza manze, inaenda half time hajacheza, but he's there. Because you know what? He's staying ready mentally. He's staying ready mentally because when the opportunity comes, anataka make sure ako ready. And that is a small thing, but it makes a big difference. So if you want to be known for a particular role, don't forget to do the small things, understand the system, and lastly, stay disciplined. But I feel like if you know your player identity, these things will be automatic. Now, in closing, if there's an advice I can give to younger players is start working on your unique player identity as early as you can. Okay, and I'm not going to leave you at Tumanze if you have to go you talk to talk. No, I've created a simple workbook that you can use to start helping you identify your unique value, and then you can also now create workouts. You can know what to work on based on your unique player identity. Okay, so my advice will be start working on it right now. Once you get this frame, fill it up. It's your game. Understand? So work on yourself, fill it up, use it, do more research online, and then start developing your unique player identity. The players that you know have a unique player identity. So now do it for yourself. It's that simple. Do it for yourself. So finally, remember one thing, guys. In basketball, not everybody has to score 20 or 30 points, but every player brings something special to the team. So your work is to find your value and master your role. Because when you understand who you are as a player, that is when the game starts opening up for you. So remember, guys, if you enjoyed this episode or this conversation, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Share this episode with a friend, a coach, or a teammate who needs to develop or who needs to understand why they must have a unique player identity, because you know of the value that it might add to them, but also the team. And what I want you to remember, guys, is remember every player needs a superpower. Find your own player identity. It's your boy, Collins Odhiambo, and I'm out. Peace!
Yo, lace up the kicks, it's that time again. Collins in the lab, letting stories begin. From the court to the mic, he breaking it down. Hoop dreams, real talk, no cap, no clown. Bounce like a dribble, mind sharp like a pivot. Life lessons in the game, he gon' make you feel it. Late nights, bright lights, goals in the fog. Every episode a gem, welcome to the Lord. On Hoop Diaries, yeah, it's more than a score. It's heart, it's hustle, it's truth at the core. So press play, lean back, let the moment ride. It's Collins on the mic, take that journey inside.